Okay, the second subroutine we're going to work with is called GetNewData. Now, one thing is, maybe before, when we had this here, you can't really see it, so maybe if I make this smaller. You can save your work by clicking here. So maybe you couldn't see that when I did that before. So I just want to show you that. Okay, here's the GetNewData subroutine. And we said that it's going to execute web queries. It's also going to obtain sales rankings from the results of the web query. And it will copy and paste formulas that convert rankings to sales figures, or assumed sales figures. He doesn't know for sure. Okay, so let's look at it. We start out by creating a subroutine. We just have to write a line like this. This time we're not writing private. Don't worry about why. We're creating a subroutine, and this time we're calling it GetNewData. And you need the brackets here to indicate that it's the name of the subroutine. Now we have this statement and then this statement. And these are just ways to, we say declare variables, or just set up some variables. So we're going to set up a variable called next row, another one called next rank, another one called units left, and another called next left. Okay, and the names are arbitrary. You can give any names you want, but you try and give names that are helpful to you later. When you have to read the name of the variable, it will hopefully help you to remember what it was or how you're using it. So he tries to give them names that have some meaning. And then you have to say what kind of data they can hold. So next row can hold integer type data. In other words, it can't hold like a string, like it can't hold somebody's name or somebody's address or something like that. It's going to only hold integers. It also can't hold fractions because he defined it as an integer. But next rank is defined as a long, and a long means like any real number, basically. Any type of number. Can be positive numbers, negative numbers, fractions, big numbers, small numbers, and so on. And then units left. Now I don't know why he spread these definitions onto 2 lines. He could have put them all on 1 line, or he could have put them on 4 lines, but he put them on 2 lines. It's okay, you can do it any way you want. So he has 2 lines of definitions. So you're allowed to do it this way, so you can do it this way. So units left is integer type, and next left is also integer type. So he says, I begin by declaring the variables I need in this procedure. Next row is going to be used as the worksheet row where I write the next set of data. Remember, we're going to have a spreadsheet like this, and he's going to write, every time he does a new query, he's going to write a new line of data. So if he does one this is 8:02 a.m., maybe he's going to do another one at 9:02 a.m. So he'll have to write a new line of data. So next row is the worksheet row. So it refers to a row, but it's going to be an integer, so it's going to be the row number. Is the worksheet row where I write the next set of query data. Next rank contains the next sales ranking for a given book. So I guess that's like what was the sales ranking today for my book. And next left contains the number of units that Amazon has left in stock. So sometimes at Amazon they'll say only 4 left. You better hurry up and buy this book because there's only 4 left in stock. Okay, so this is will hold that value. If that figure is reported in the book's Amazon page, not every time, they don't always have it. They don't always write that, like you only have 4 more books. There are only 4 more books left. They don't always have that message there. But if that figure is available, it's going to be stored in here. Now he has a little note about these variables, and about their definition, their types: integer, long, integer, and integer. A variable such as next row, if declared as integer, can take only integer values. So that means it can't take like a fraction. It can't be like a decimal number. And with a maximum positive value of that's the largest it can be if it's declared as an integer. I don't expect to use more than that number of rows, so he's not going to use more than 32,000 rows, or this number of rows, in my application. So it's okay that he's limiting next row to be an integer. A variable such as next rank, which stores the book ranking, can easily have a value greater than this. So we saw some bigger numbers in that, like he had a ranking of 300 and something thousand. And so I declare it as a long, not as an integer. Oh, I made a mistake, I'm sorry. Long cannot be a fraction. I was thinking of something called a double. Long cannot be a fraction. Long is just a big integer. Long is a long integer. Takes integer values only, and has a maximum positive value of more than 2 billion. That's plenty large enough to store an Amazon book ranking. Okay, now he's going to add 2 more lines of code. This one and this one. So what do these do? This one is application.screenUpdating equals false. So what that means is that if you don't put that in there, then while your program is running, you'll see it sort of going all over the Excel file and doing different things and pasting things in and things like that. And that can, maybe you don't really care about seeing that, you just want it to finish. And sometimes you'll set it to true if you want to watch what it's doing, maybe see if there's a mistake somewhere or something like that. But otherwise you really don't want to see Excel sort of pasting stuff and scrolling and things like that. So you'll set application screen updating equal to false. And application.calculation equals x calculation manual. Okay, x1 calculation manual. I don't like to be distracted by the screen if I happen to be looking at it when the code changes the active worksheet. So it might go from one worksheet to another. So I turn off screen updating, and the Excel window stays put until the code has finished running, or until a statement turning screen updating back on is executed. You can set its value to true instead of false. Okay? Also, I don't want formulas recalculating as queries write new data to the worksheets. So Excel will sometimes recalculate formulas at strange times, and if you don't want it to do that, so like when certain types of actions occur in the spreadsheet, Excel might recalculate formulas, and you may not want that to happen. You probably don't want that to happen. So you can set application calculation to x1 calculation manual, which means it won't do that. I let them recalculate after queries have finished running. So I set Excel's calculation property to manual. Later on, I reset it to automatic. Okay. Refresh sheets stats, refresh sheets, and this one. Now I call the refresh sheets subroutine with the name of the query sheet as the argument. So remember we had a sheet called stats? I think I still have it. Stats here. Okay? So this says to refresh that sheet. And we have apparently he has another sheet called this, and so he's going to refresh that sheet as well. So I call the refresh sheets subroutine with the name of the query sheet as the argument. I call it once for each query sheet. As noted earlier, I actually call this subroutine 8 times, but I don't want to subject you to all the 8 calls here. What happens is largely the same in each call. So he means that he's doing this like for 8 different books. The refresh sheets subroutine is shown and described following this main GetNewData subroutine at the end of the current section. So this is another subroutine that he's going to write, and then so this is not finished yet. He has to write it, and then this will make sense. Right now, actually, it doesn't make sense because we haven't written the refresh sheets subroutine. Okay, let's stop here and continue.